What is philosophy? You might think it's something abstract, something in old dusty books or in the hands of a few ivory tower intellectuals. But philosophy, at its heart, is deeply human. It's the urge to ask questions, to seek clarity, to look beyond appearances. The word itself comes from ancient Greece. Philo means love, and Sophia means wisdom. To be a philosopher is to be a lover of wisdom. And yet this wisdom isn't about knowing all the answers. It's about nurturing the courage to ask the biggest questions of all. So how did philosophy begin? Why did it emerge in the first place? Well, according to some of the earliest philosophers, it began with wonder. The ancient Greeks were full of wonder about the world around them. Why is the sky blue? What's beyond the horizon? How do we know what we know? These questions, these philosophical questions, they were the starting point of something new, an intellectual adventure that continues to this day. But it wasn't just the Greeks. Philosophers emerged all over the world, in India, China, Africa, and the Middle East, each bringing their own unique perspectives and ideas. And so the adventure began, a journey of discovery that has no end, a quest for wisdom that is always just beyond our grasp, but worth pursuing nonetheless. Philosophy, what does it mean? When most people hear that word, they think of someone sitting in a park wearing a beret and smoking a cigarette, lost in deep thought. Or maybe they think of long, boring lectures in college that made their eyes want to fall out. But actually, philosophy is much more interesting than that. In its simplest form, philosophy is the study of the fundamental questions about life. Questions like, what is truth? What is knowledge? What is morality? What is beauty? Does God exist? What is the meaning of life? These are the kinds of questions that keep us up at night, that make us wonder about the world around us and our place in it. At its core, philosophy begins with a very human impulse, curiosity. When we look up at the night sky and wonder about the vastness of the universe and our place in it, we're doing philosophy. When we meet someone new and try to figure out if they're trustworthy, we're doing philosophy. When we ponder the meaning of a poem or a painting, we're doing philosophy. We're asking questions and looking for answers. But philosophy is different from simple beliefs. Myths and religions often provided stories and rituals to explain the world and our place in it, and those are comforting. They give us a sense of order and meaning in an otherwise chaotic universe. But philosophers weren't satisfied with these answers. They wanted to know why those answers were true. They wanted to know how we can be sure that what we believe is correct. So they developed a new way of thinking, a way that relied on reason and logic and evidence rather than tradition or authority. This was a revolutionary idea. It was the start of a new way of understanding the world. The ancient Greeks called it philosophy, which literally means the love of wisdom, and it started with one simple question: what is the nature of reality? From there, philosophers started to tackle all sorts of questions about life, the universe, and everything. They argued about the existence of God, the nature of the soul, the meaning of life, and the basis of morality. And they did it all without resorting to violence or hatred or superstition. They simply used their brains. That's what philosophy is all about. It's about using reason and logic to understand the world and our place in it. It's about asking questions and seeking answers. It's about being curious and open-minded. That's why philosophy is such an important part of being human. It's what allows us to rise above the base instincts of our animal nature and become something more, something wise, something good, something free. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to seek wisdom. After all, that's what makes us human. So that's what philosophy really means. It's the love of wisdom, the pursuit of knowledge and understanding, and the quest for truth. Now go out into the world and be curious. Ask questions, challenge assumptions, and never stop learning, because the world is full of wonders and you are capable of understanding them. Just remember that philosophy isn't just something we study in school. It's a way of thinking, a way of approaching the world. So keep your mind open, your curiosity alive, and always remember the words of the great philosopher Socrates: the unexamined life is not worth living. So where did this journey begin? Most historians trace the formal birth of philosophy to ancient Greece, around the 6th century BCE. Before this time, cultures across the world explained natural phenomena through mythology. The sunrise, storms, earthquakes, and the cycle of life were attributed to gods or spirits. But something unique happened in Greece. Instead of attributing thunder to Zeus or earthquakes to Poseidon, some thinkers began to search for natural explanations. They asked, what if there are deeper principles underlying nature? What if reason can uncover the hidden order of reality? This was the birth of philosophy. Their number is legion, but most historians highlight Thales, Anaximander, Pythagoras, and Heraclitus. Now the Pre-Socratics posed some of humanity's earliest riddles. Who or what is the ultimate reality? What is the nature of the cosmos? What is the origin of life? How do we know what we know? These questions still resonate today, echoing in the corridors of academia and the quiet moments of contemplation. Why did philosophy start? Why did philosophy emerge when it did? Historians and philosophers often point to 4 key reasons. Wonder. Human beings are naturally curious. When early Greeks gazed at the sea, the stars, or the mysteries of life and death, they could not help but ask questions. This sense of wonder is the seed of philosophy, a change in thinking. Instead of relying solely on myth, people began to use observation and reasoning. They noticed patterns in nature. They compared, questioned, and debated. This intellectual shift marked a new stage in human thought. Public squares, agoras were filled with conversations. Citizens could challenge ideas, exchange arguments, and explore possibilities. This culture of dialogue was essential for philosophy to flourish. Exposure to diverse ideas widened their perspective and inspired new ways of thinking. Together, these four forces, wonder, new ways of thinking, freedom, and cultural exchange, set the stage for philosophy to be born. What happened next? After this, philosophy spread like wildfire, taking deep roots in Alexandria and later in the hands of the Romantics and Stoic philosophers. It traveled across continents, influencing civilizations and shaping the course of human thought. And yet, despite its ancient origins, philosophy is not a static relic of the past. It's a living, breathing entity that continues to evolve, adapt, and shape our understanding of the world and our place in it. In a world that often values practicality over introspection, progress over pondering, philosophy stands as a beacon, reminding us of the power and importance of asking questions. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, bombarded by information and instant gratification, philosophy offers a much-needed counterbalance. It encourages us to slow down, to look within and around us, and to question the very nature of our existence. Philosophy also plays a crucial role in fostering critical thinking. It equips us with the tools to analyze, to examine, and to question. No longer do we accept things at face value. We dig deeper, seeking to understand the underlying principles, the assumptions, and the biases that shape our beliefs and actions. In an age where information is abundant but comprehension is lacking, this skill becomes even more vital. Moreover, philosophy is a source of personal growth and self-discovery. It challenges our perspectives, forcing us to confront our own limitations and biases. By engaging with philosophical ideas, we are confronted with questions about our purpose, our values, and our responsibilities. It's a journey inward, an exploration of the human condition that ultimately leads to a deeper understanding of ourselves. In conclusion, philosophy is not merely an academic pursuit confined to dusty books and ivory towers. It's a vibrant, dynamic process that can enrich and transform our lives. Whether we realize it or not, we engage in philosophical thinking every day, grappling with ethical dilemmas, pondering the meaning of life, or questioning societal norms. Philosophy provides the framework, the vocabulary, and the courage to have these discussions. It gives voice to our deepest questions and equips us with the tools to find our own answers. So let us embrace philosophy, not as a burden or an obligation, but as a gift that allows us to explore the depths of our being, to challenge the status quo, and to strive for a better, more meaningful life. Let the journey begin, and may your thirst for knowledge and understanding lead you to wisdom. A wise person once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Who said that? Which branch of philosophy does that quote belong to? Give yourself a few seconds to think about your answers. Did you figure it out? That quote belongs to Socrates, the man considered to be the father of Western philosophy, and it's an example of an aphorism, a concise and memorable statement expressing a general truth. Part 4. The first philosophers, the Pre-Socratics. The earliest philosophers are often called the Pre-Socratics because they came before the famous Socrates. These thinkers weren't yet focused on ethics or politics. Instead, they were fascinated by nature and the fundamental building blocks of reality. They asked, what is the world made of? What is the underlying substance of everything? Thales of Miletus is often remembered as the very first philosopher. He suggested that water is the essential element of life. To him, water was everywhere: rivers, seas, rain, and even the nourishment of living things. It seemed to be the source of all. His student Anaximander disagreed. He proposed that the origin of everything could not be something as specific as water. Instead, it must be something boundless and indefinite, which he called the epipron. This was his way of saying that the ultimate reality is beyond what we can see or touch. Then came Heraclitus, who declared that change itself is the fundamental truth. Everything flows, he insisted. Fire, for him, symbolized this eternal process of transformation. To Heraclitus, stability was an illusion. The only constant was change. Others, like Parmenides, argued the opposite, that change is an illusion, and reality is one unchanging whole. His strict logic laid the foundation for Western metaphysics. And then there were the atomists, such as Democritus, who proposed that everything is made up of tiny, indivisible particles called atoms. Centuries before modern science, they imagined a universe made of fundamental building blocks. Though they disagreed fiercely, the Pre-Socratics all shared one thing: the conviction that reason, not myth, could explain the universe. Part 5. The father of philosophy, Socrates. If Thales was the first philosopher, then Socrates is often called the father of philosophy. Unlike the Pre-Socratics, Socrates shifted attention from nature to human life. Instead of asking, what is the universe made of, Socrates asked, how should we live? He roamed the streets of Athens, questioning citizens, challenging assumptions, and exposing contradictions in their thinking. His method, now called the Socratic method, was based on dialogue, asking probing questions until clarity or contradiction emerged. Socrates never wrote his ideas down. We know him mainly through his students, like Plato. Yet his legacy is immense. He inspired a tradition of ethical and critical thinking that shaped the very definition of philosophy. For his relentless questioning, Socrates was condemned to death. But in choosing to die rather than betray his principles, he became a symbol of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, the big three of Greek philosophy. After Socrates came Plato, his most famous student. Plato founded the Academy in Athens, often considered the first university. He wrote dialogues that explored justice, beauty, knowledge, and the ideal society. Plato believed in the existence of eternal forms, perfect realities beyond the physical world. To him, everything we see is just a shadow of these timeless truths. Plato's student, Aristotle, took a different approach. Rather than looking to a separate realm of forms, he studied the natural world itself. He wrote extensively on logic, ethics, biology, politics, and art. Aristotle's systematic approach made him one of the most influential thinkers in history. Together, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle are the big three of Greek philosophy. Their ideas still shape how we think about knowledge, morality, and society. Why does philosophy still matter? From its birth in ancient Greece to today, philosophy has never stopped evolving. Medieval philosophers wrestled with the relationship between reason and faith. Modern thinkers like Descartes, Kant, and Nietzsche pushed the boundaries of human thought. And yet the questions remain the same. What is truth? What is the right way to live? What can we know for certain? Does life have meaning? Philosophy doesn't give us final answers, but it sharpens our ability to think, to question, and to seek wisdom. In a world full of information, philosophy reminds us to search for understanding. In times of uncertainty, it challenges us to examine our values. And in moments of wonder, it encourages us to embrace curiosity rather than fear. To be a philosopher is not to sit in isolation, but to live a life of questioning, reflection, and pursuit of wisdom. But the examined life, the philosophical life, is one of the richest journeys we can take.